Like, do you have a taste for anything in particular?
Not really.
There's like a Korean barbecue place, but I don't know about taking it all the way home.
That's right. Because Korean barbecue is usually best enjoyed on site.
Right in front of the grill.
Yeah. Right in front of the grill. That reminds me, I keep on seeing this place on Instagram.
What?
It looks really good. They have, like it's one of those rotary type eatery places, but instead of sushi, it's rotary, like Korean barbecue.
Oh.
So the meat comes around on this
grab
little train, and you grab it off the train, you know.
It's awesome.
And it just, yeah, it's supposed to be great.
And you can just sit there and cook it up.
You sit there, cook it up. They have booths, and they have bar side, you know, like bar style.
Okay.
So you just grab it off.
Okay.
But it's weird because it's hard to describe exactly how it's set up in the store because it's so unique to me.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to go eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to test these out for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
Because I do want to get something on the website or something on the feed just because, you know, it's been about half a month since we recorded anything, Lex and I.
Half a month?
Yeah. The last episode was released on April 16th.
That was just 2 weeks ago.
That's half a month.
Yeah, you're right.
I consider that half a month.
Okay, I get you. I get you.
I get you. Yeah, okay. But, yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. So I don't want to fall out of practice of this. And plus, I mean, there's so much going on in everybody's life right now.
Right.
That, you know, I think it's important to really kind of give a little bit of disclosure if this fucking setup works at all.
Okay.
About what's going on.
Is it on right now?
It's on. I just keep moving my microphone.
I keep hitting it with my chin.
Yeah. I'm hoping that a lot of this stuff I can fix in post. In fact, I'm going to clip it on my seatbelt here. Maybe that'll be a little bit better if I move it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is all just trying to figure this out, obviously.
Right.
And because these are those Rode microphones, I can just export it onto my laptop and then like do a little magic to it.
Right.
Once we get in.
Right.
I guess I'm going the right way.
You're going towards the expressway. I see it up there.
Ah, there it is. Okay. Riding in cars. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, obviously, you know, with Lex's dad passing away.
Yeah.
And I've been, we made the decision for CNSC, which is not completely common knowledge yet, but, you know, I know our listeners aren't going to go and tell the local media. We also made the decision as a group to shut down Chicago Nerd Social Club and basically just spin off the book club to its own thing. So that's in process, and that's a pretty lofty process because we were a not-for-profit at one point. You know, we have all kind of all kind of stuff that needs to be done legally to shut it down. It's not like we can just flip off a switch or something like that. You know, so we've got to be cautious to do that just the right way, and also make sure that predatory people don't swoop in and try to co-opt the Chicago Nerd Social Club brand in order to, you know, make it their own thing.
Have you experienced that before?
A long time ago, before I was on the board, apparently there was a move on Reddit when they had, you know, their own Reddit account and everything, and they promoted a lot of stuff on there. Some people tried to grab the socials for Chicago Nerd Social Club using the same branding and make it seem like they were in charge of it, not understanding that, like, we actually, well, they at the time filed paperwork and stuff like that.
Right.
So it wasn't just like something they could just go and take.
Right, know? Without some kind of without some kind of transfer.
Well, yeah,
some
without
official
transfer and without any type of repercussions.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's a kind of a tangled thing. And of course, you know, I don't want to speak for Lex, but, you know, she's dealing with a lot right now, obviously, dealing with this. I can only speak to how difficult it was when my mom passed away, which, obviously you were there for.
Yeah.
And you remember just how much we had to go through. I mean, with her home, with, of course, her last wishes, and trying to get all of that figured out in such a short amount of time.
Right.
I'm glad that Lex has her family to help her out in this case, and really, back her as she tries to wade through all this stuff too. She seems like she has a good support system in place, so I don't think it's going to be as tumultuous for her. Right. And I'm not saying it's not a hard thing to deal with. It's absolutely a hard thing to deal with, especially the emotional aspect of it.
Right.
Because, my mom and I, my mom and I weren't necessarily as close as a lot of mothers and sons for a big chunk of my life. Because I was a knucklehead, and, she had some very strong beliefs that I didn't quite agree with. But of course, that changed near the end of her life. Even before we found out about her cancer diagnosis, she really made a strong effort to be more involved in my life, and I did the same.
Right.
And a big part of that is because she really admired our relationship, you and I. She really loved you and wanted to treat you like a daughter, because she's known you basically your whole life. And she, of course, knew me my whole life. And she always was a fan of yours, And when she found out we were a thing, she really did have a change in her attitude and her demeanor towards everything. And she wanted to be a part of that.
I was always, real quick, just a little sidebar. How did you find out? Did you just tell her?
About you and I being together?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just told her.
How did that work? Like, I never...
Yeah, just in a conversation, it wasn't any type of like big reveal or anything like that. And of course you would come over to her house with me, and we'd just, be over there for a while and stuff. And I mean, that's just how it just progressed.
Yeah, but how it, like a mom can assume something and then, and then be like, have it confirmed or have it denied or whatever,
Yeah.
Like, that's what actually brings credence to the whole thing. But, I was just curious, like, did you just be like, hey, I'm going to have Dolores come over here for a little bit just to hang out, or, and then did she ask why? And you just said, well, because we're dating. She's my girlfriend.
Yeah. Basically. I mean, I was very upfront about it just because I was proud, I was very happy. And, but I mean, back to the matter at hand. So it's a difficult situation dealing with the loss of a loved one, especially somebody that you're as close to as Lex was close to her dad.
Yeah.
And, they're getting the services together and everything, and dealing with, everything that was left behind. And I appreciate the type of man that Michael Lutz was.
Yeah.
And I told Lex the other day, because I'm trying to make sure to make time to still talk to her every day.
Right.
Because it can be a very lonely thing too.
Right.
And when I say a lonely thing, it can be almost, I want to make sure I say this the right way. It's not a matter of people turning their back necessarily. It's a matter of you feeling like you're sinking into a dark place.
Okay.
I mean, again, to get back to Lex's dad, he had a big impact on her life, and it shows through her, and it shows through her brother, and just what wonderful people they are. And, I expressed to her, I'm glad that before he was gone, he got to see her fall in love.
Yeah.
He got to see her start her new journey in Texas and make a way for herself.
Right.
And really just see her come into her own with her job and everything.
Right.
I mean, Lex has evolved so much these past few years. She's already a great person, and now she's an even better person.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, as a father, he had to be incredibly proud.
Oh my God.
Of her.
Yeah.
And all the efforts that she made. And that's how I feel about that.
I have zero doubt.
Yeah.
I have zero doubt that he was like the most proud papa on earth. Just to see her be like, you know what? I'm going to move out, but I'm not just going to move out. I'm going to move to another state.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it with somebody that I trust, that I found on my own accord, that I trust and who trusts me, and I feel comfortable enough to do this with them. Like, you know, isn't that like, you know, the dream?
Yeah, basically.
Isn't that the dream for most parents?
For
just
most
like,
parents,
hey, I just want somebody, I want my kid to find somebody who will take care of them the way that I would take care of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
It's awesome.
So I'm glad he got to witness all of that. You know.
Man, he fought too.
He did.
Ugh.
He did. It was a long battle.
Man.
And I mean, again, I don't want to get too much into the personal details of it, but
right.
you know, it's he's a strong guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, we're here for Lex, of course, and you know, I just felt the need to talk about how I was feeling a little bit. You know, and I'm sure we'll hear from her when she's ready to talk about it too.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we didn't want to just leave radio silence and, you know, just kind of have that floating around that way.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, Resnaculous is on hiatus right now too, because we're trying to get our health in order. No, I'm kidding. Because there's really like, all right, so there have been a lot of options offered to us.
Yes.
Over the past few months, as far as Resnaculous items go. But you know what? Y'all nasty, because a lot of these involve ranch. And you know what? I draw the line at ranch, okay? It is not cool to have ranch ice cream on the shelves.
Oh, God.
I don't care if it's Hidden Valley. I don't care if it's Newman's Own. Ranch dressing ice cream is nasty. And you know what? We made a lot of strides in our work with Resnaculous to not do any type of like disrespect to any cultures or anything like that. But Americans, y'all nasty.
Right.
And this needs to stop.
We are the weirdos.
We
are the true weirdos when it comes to flavor, to our palates.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The disgrace of Flavor Town.
Yes.
This is the bad place.
It is. It is. Like, I mean, there should be nothing like legitimately good and new coming out of the American palate. Nothing.
What was it that Ted Lasso, he was offering one of the players' dads some candy.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want some American candy? And the guy was like, yeah, absolutely. And
right.
he's like, yeah, it's got that bad sugar.
Yeah, it's got that bad sugar. That's right. That's right.
Like, you mean high fructose corn syrup? He's like, yeah, but I can't pronounce all that. I just call it that bad sugar.
That bad sugar.
He's right. He's absolutely right.
Oh my God, that actually reminds me. So on the Today Show, they had a segment of like Yuck or Yum or something like that with Henry Winkler.
Interesting. Okay.
And this was on the Hoda and
the Hoda Jenna hour.
Yeah. So you know, watch
the Hoda. Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, and they had him trying some interesting stuff.
Okay.
And one of them is an ice cream that is seasoned with everything bagel seasoning.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
And neither did he.
No.
Neither did he. He was just like, oh my God. Like, why does this exist?
Right. That doesn't sound good at all.
No.
I mean, you know, if it's everything but the bagel, add the bagel.
Right. Just put it on a damn bagel.
Put it on a bagel.
Man, I mean, all you did was freeze some schmear. Some everything bagel flavored schmear.
Real quick.
That's what you did.
There's that gazebo.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's so weird.
It just popped up out of nowhere.
It's not new.
No.
It's not new. It looks aged.
But it's one of those Mandela effect sort of things.
Right.
So we're on Western here in Chicago. We're driving down Western and we're passing Wells Park.
Yes.
And in the middle of Wells Park, we've driven past this park multiple times over the past couple of decades.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, we're in the back of a Lyft yesterday, coming home from the movies, and it's like, oh, is that a gazebo? And it's just a full-blown gazebo. I'm not talking about like a cheap-looking gazebo. It's got like metal bars and wood paneling and all kind of stuff.
This could easily fit like 15 to 20 people inside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no problem.
Like, I can imagine there being one of those bandstands like they had in Mary Poppins with the penguins and whatnot.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And
right.
Everybody's got on like those straw hats and those...
Oh my God. Oh.
Man, what a trippy movie that was.
Oh God.
But I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed Mary Poppins immensely.
It's a beautiful movie.
It's a nice transition too, because as a kid, especially a kid of the 80s, you're not used to growing up with, well, to me anyway, I wasn't used to growing up with a lot of live action stuff being my go-to entertainment. Yeah. If I was watching something, I wanted it to be a cartoon.
Right.
And the problem was, at that time, we didn't have Nicktoons. We didn't have Cartoon Network. Disney Channel was still in its infancy.
Yeah,
and
truly.
It, just like every corporate product, it tries to start with the best intentions.
Right.
Showing like Mickey Mouse exercise.
Mouse exercise.
It was like Mickey Mouse, but exercise.
What?
Yeah. So it was an exercise show starring Mickey and friends.
See?
And it's these people in those big Mickey outfits, like trying to do their exercises and such. And it was so uncomfortable to watch because you feel bad for the people in these hot outfits, as they're trying to show kids how to be healthy. And then they had like a weird live action Winnie the Pooh, which still had the same voices of the animated Winnie the Pooh, but it was like people in costumes once again.
What?
Welcome to Pooh Corner. Look it up.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's a bad title.
Well, look.
Welcome to Pooh Corner?
In retrospect, it was always a poop joke. There was never a time where there was any Winnie the Pooh media that was 100% not a poop joke.
Yeah. I believe that. I
different times.
That.
Different times. It's like how girls these days call their boyfriends stink. Like, I don't...
What?
They call... Yeah. Like Big Head. You've heard Big Head.
Okay, yeah, I've heard Big Head. Well, I've heard Apple Head.
The next evolutionary step is calling their boyfriend stink, which is supposed to be a term of endearment. But to me, it's like, I work hard not to smell. I work hard not to stink.
Right.
And you're calling me stink, that makes me self-conscious.
That's offensive.
Do you see how far I veered off the path now?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Going back to my initial point,
yeah.
Back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have cartoons 24 hours a day. So it was difficult to be like, all right, yeah, you get to watch all these VHSs of these cool cartoons. Oh, but now Journey to Witch Mountain is on Disney Channel.
Oh, yeah.
Or Journey to the Center of the Earth. Or something else that they had that was geared towards kids, but was just like some British people having really scary adventures with bad film quality.
Right.
That wasn't animated at all.
Right.
Okay? Even in The King and I, that had that one segment in there where Mickey Mouse was dancing. Not Mickey Mouse, oh my God. Jerry the Mouse was dancing.
Oh, I have not seen that.
What am I thinking of? It wasn't The King and I then.
I was about to say, because the only King and I that I've seen has been the one with Yul Brynner.
Okay, I'm incorrect. There was a movie, though, that existed. It was live action.
Okay.
And there was one segment where Fred Astaire was dancing with Jerry the Mouse. Do you remember this?
Not at all.
Okay, but it was like, pre Roger Rabbit, of course.
Of course.
And I think it was around the same time as Mary Poppins. But the reason I'm bringing all that together is because it was a nice transition to watching a live action movie with the understanding that within this film, there would be an animated segment to look forward to. So you could watch, pay attention or not, and know that there was going to be a cartoon in there. So it was good times.
Oh my God. You were just waiting for the hidden cartoon.
I was just waiting for the hidden cartoon.
Oh my God.
That's all.
Wow.
But I wasn't disappointed because both of those instances were very cool. And then, of course, it all came to fruition with Roger Rabbit, which was amazing.
Oh God.
For the time.
That was, it was so cool.
It's so sad too. I've watched retrospectives about it, and I've watched little YouTube videos that explain why they never followed up on it. And it's just because they decided to make some bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the sequel at one point was going to be CGI, with Roger as a CGI being instead of just hand drawn to save money.
Yeah.
And it was just like, no, that's not the charm. The charm was the Ink and Paint Club.
Right.
Ink and Paint.
Right.
And all these classic cartoons coming together.
Exactly.
That was the appeal. Roger, sure, it was great to have him, but we didn't get another like spiritual successor to Roger Rabbit until Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers came out during the pandemic. Because, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, basically.
Well. I was going to say, I mean, granted, it is not a Disney product, but Cool World.
Cool World, yeah.
Cool World was Roger Rabbit with drugs and sex.
Sure. And then, I mean, if we're being super technical, you can bring up Paula Abdul and DJ Supercat.
Yeah, sure.
You know, who also appeared in Chip and Dale Rescue
Rangers, yep.
Roger Rabbit was in there, Chip and Dale was in there.
Yep.
Ugly Sonic was in there. I still think that movie was like a fever dream. It's crazy it exists.
It's a fever dream.
Yeah, especially with just the fact that, you know, it's John Mulaney.
Yeah.
And he's like a completely different vibe of John Mulaney these days.
As was noted in his stand-up.
Yeah.
His most recent stand-up.
It was a good stand-up special.
That was.
You know, I mean, he didn't do anything criminal. So it's like,
no.
Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of him anymore, but it's also interesting to me to go down this thought path. Like those guys who famously were dedicated wife guys as their personality. And, you know, as their claim to fame or part of their charm.
Yeah.
Don't count on those guys. Like, don't love somebody because of how much they love their wife. It seems like a bad time.
Right.
Because, you know.
Besides, what if their wife is a piece of shit? Like, you know, what if the wife is like, you know, I can't stand those brown people.
Oh my God.
Or, oh my God, I can't stand people that are overweight. Or I can't stand Democrats, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of shitty ass women out here.
Well,
there are a lot of shitty wives out here.
All right, you said it.
You know, like,
you know, present company excluded, of course.
I mean,
I got you. See, but this is the difference here. And I know it sounds almost hypocritical when I'm like, yeah, don't trust wife guys and shit like that. And I'm like a wife guy, right? But the difference here is I'm a shitty person myself. No, the difference here is
we're shitty together.
We're shitty together. No, the difference is you're here. Yes. We're talking about this.
This is true.
You're on the mic.
This is true.
People know you. You're not just like some like olive oil persona.
Olive oil persona?
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So to explain what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. She was always the damsel. You know, she never really had her own thing going on.
Yeah.
And even when she did have her own thing going on, it was usually just for one episode. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, look at her. She's fighting for women's suffrage. And it's like Popeye is standing beside her. That's a great couple. And they never bring it up again.
Right, right, exactly.
Oh, all right. I guess she won. I guess women's rights have been no. Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I also have this to add though. Like in those kinds of episodes where they would show her trying to like, you know, do something to better the world.
Yeah.
She was still fucking up. So bad. Like she was like you know, they never just wrote it like, yeah, she's responsible. Yeah, she knows exactly what she needs to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, no, she had to mess up so that Popeye can come and save her in some very strange way.
All right. So in defense of olive oil in that case, sure, yes, most of the time she was fucking up. However, there were certain times where if it was something that was like super patriotic, mm-hmm. that she would actually be like the one to stand up for it, you know?
Oh yeah,
and she would end up being like taken advantage of by Bluto.
Ugh.
You know, like for instance, and I'm making this up.
Mm.
It feels like it was an episode of Popeye, but it's been years, right? Mm. She was selling war bonds. Okay, so she's selling war bonds. And all of a sudden, Bluto comes up. He's like, war bonds, eh? You know, because he didn't really move his teeth. Mm-hmm. When he talked, he just kind of gritted his teeth and looked maniacal.
Right.
So he's probably like, war bonds. Okay, well, hey, I'm selling war bonds too. Why don't you sell me war bonds and I'll sell you war bonds? And then we'll have helped our troops win the war, right?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, she's out of like $100, which was a lot of money back then.
Most definitely.
Yes. So that's like the equivalent of $1 million today. Don't check that. Don't fact check that. So she sells Bluto, and then Bluto sells her, and all of a sudden, all her money's gone. Oh no! And so here comes the ultra patriotic Popeye the Sailor Man, who is loosely affiliated with the U.S. Navy, we'll say, and he comes and he stomps the stew out of Bluto, just beats the brakes off of Bluto, and gets that money back
after taking a few licks.
Right. But yeah,
it's always like he has to take a few licks, realize that he forgot to take his spinach today,
man,
and then go ahead and take his spinach, and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, steroids, let's go. Let's beat the mess out of him,
every boy of a certain age, and a lot of girls too, I'm sure, probably ate that spinach thinking it was going to do that one time.
Nope.
And they were like, this is disgusting.
Nope, I guarantee you.
You knew better.
No, I guarantee you that it was like, when kids were young, it's just like, okay, here, eat the spinach. No. See, Popeye taking his spinach and all the power that he gets or whatever. And then the next night they have spinach again for dinner. And it's like, still, no,
didn't work.
Like that, I think that is where, that's one of those moments where a kid can figure out in their lives that, oh, what's happening on TV is not true to real life all the time.
Right.
Because fucking Popeye makes spinach look amazing. Like, it's delicious and incredible and all of that stuff. And then, but as a kid, all you taste is grass.
All you taste is
stewed grass.
I'll go you one better. Especially if it's spinach from a can, all you're tasting is grass and metal.
Yes. Oh, yeah, tinned grass.
Tinned grass.
How about that? That tastes delicious. That sounds amazing.
That's another thing we take for granted now, because vegetables used to be nasty.
Yeah.
I know that for Brussels sprouts in particular, there was a scientist that hated the taste of Brussels sprouts so much that he decided to genetically manipulate Brussels sprouts to make them less bitter.
Really?
And those are the Brussels sprouts that we have now.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is fairly recent too. Not like in the past couple years, but like maybe over the past couple decades.
Wow.
And this one I'm going to say, yes, please do fact check me on, because I hope I'm not talking out of my neck with this one. But I'll also say this. In addition to that, sketchy fact that I just said, people also know how to prepare Brussels sprouts better than they did when we were kids. It used to just be stewed.
Yes.
But now people are crisping them up.
Yep.
Adding sea salt and oils.
Yes.
They're delicious.
Yes.
And
air frying them.
Air fryers. Yes. Thank God for air fryers. Yes. Like really. Broccoli too, but broccoli has always had the crutch of cheese,
Oh yeah.
Like if you have a cheese sauce, broccoli is just nullified.
Right.
But now you don't even need that. It's just vegetables taste better. They're being prepared better.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse to me than a soggy veggie. It needs to be crisp. It has to have some type of pop.
Yeah.
And it used to be hard for people to get that type of effect that weren't, chefs.
Right.
But now everybody has the ability to do that if they want to.
Or like even with the new wave at the time in the 90s, I would say maybe late 80s.
And new wave?
I mean, in that era, for sure. There's frozen veggies. Like there was no other way to cook them for the longest time than to just put them in a pot, bring them up to boil with a little bit of water.
Yeah. And
you had to have just really gross, soggy, overcooked vegetables.
It's funny too, because as we're driving here, we just passed by an IHOP, and it's like IHOP's new thick and fluffy French toast. And I completely got distracted from what you were saying, which isn't good for a 2-person conversation. For one person to just be like, ooh, thick and fluffy.
Right, exactly. I'm talking about vegetables, and you sitting over here like, breakfast breads.
Breakfast
delicious.
breads. Yes, Lord. Make it a fish cake Friday. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes, indeed.
That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. We should get fish cake.
We're
anyway,
telling people where we live.
No, we're not. We're giving them a roundabout estimation. And plus, the people who listen to this have mailed us things. So,
that's true.
Which we appreciate. Thank you all.
That's true.
Yeah.
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 Thank you for not trying to hurt us. Thank you for showing us like grace and kindness and privacy.
We appreciate all that.
Appreciate.
So this has been Driving with Matt and D.
Yep, and BMO. You just didn't hear him.
Yeah, BMO's been chilling.
Yeah,
he's been chilling.
Oh no, why?
I love it.
Why do you do it?
Well, to summarize everything, we love Lex.
Yes.
Brussels sprouts are good now.
Yes.
Popeye is weird.
Yes.
And cartoons are great.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and talk to you later.
Bye.